Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today for our franchisee interview. We love these franchisee interviews. We get to hear a little more about the day in the life of our owners. So let's get started. Go ahead and share who you are, where you're located, and the number of territories that you own.
Okay. I'm Kola Bliss, and we live in Tucson, Arizona.
Mhm.
We have three offices here, or three territories here in Tucson, and we have a territory in Henderson and Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wonderful. And how long have you been a right-at-home owner, Cola?
Oh, we have been a right-at-home owner for about 12 years now.
All right. Well, congratulations. So talk to us a little bit about your background.
Um, I have a degree in business, but I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and my daughter graduated from high school, and I decided I wanted to get a job.
Mhm.
And my husband said, "Well, good luck with that because you haven't had a job since you graduated from college 20 years ago."
Mhm.
And so I had a friend who was a caregiver for the Right at Home office in Minneapolis.
Mhm.
And she loved it. And she said, "Coley, you would be a great caregiver."
Oh,
And I was a little hesitant. I said, "I'm not sure I can work with old people." I
mhm.
said, "I just don't know about that."
Mhm.
And so I tried it. And they hired me and I became a caregiver.
Oh,
And I was a caregiver for a few years actually. And I loved it and I found that I had quite a passion for it.
mm, that's awesome. And what was it about right at home that made you decide to move forward with ownership with right at home?
Um, I had been working for Right at Home for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and my husband Adam was in the corporate world,
Hmm.
and he flew or traveled every week.
Hmm.
And so he was on a plane one week and he saw a magazine and it had the 10 best franchises in America. And Right at Home was one of them.
Wow.
And so he did some studying and um, he wanted to find out more. So we came to Omaha for 2 weeks and found out everything that we
Oh,
could about Right at Home. And we loved their culture and their business model. And so we decided at that time that we would move to Tucson and become a right at home owner.
wonderful. And here you are.
And here we are.
That's awesome. And I'd love to find out a little bit about what that typical day looks like. I'm sure after 12 years, it's shifted quite a bit back then to the role that you play now. So, if you could walk us through what that looks like.
So at first, um, I mean, this was kind of a make it or break it situation for Adam and I, because he quit his job and we picked up and moved our family to Tucson. And so at first, I would in the day, I would interview caregivers,
Hmm.
do assessments, do scheduling, and a whole bunch of other things.
Hmm.
Because there was just Adam and I at first.
Yes.
And then at night or in the evenings, I would usually do caregiving shifts. So I was working long days
Yeah.
and long hours.
Hmm.
Um, but it got better and we started hiring a lot. We were able to hire a lot more caregivers then as we grew and hire office staff. That really helped us a lot. Um, a typical day for me now is I I work out in the morning and then get to the office and um, I work mainly with the clients and the caregivers.
Hmm.
So have client care meetings, um, maybe see what client issues or problems have come up, in the
Hmm.
last 24 hours and try to help and solve those.
Hmm.
But it does get better.
Yeah, I love that. So really at the beginning, it's hands-on. It's really long
Oh, it's
days, been in those
It's
hats.
totally hands-on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it really is, I think at the same time, a great way for you to learn the ropes of the business, right? Being new into this business from your background. And I'm sure the caregiving part became natural because, it's what you were doing. But then, it sounds like now you have a little bit of that freedom to be able to work out in the morning and then assess the things throughout the day that you need to keep your hands involved in the business. And I
Yep.
don't find it surprising that you are still over the caregiver piece. So I love that. And I think at the end of the day, you did have the tendency of that passion and, the loving aspect that you needed to be a good caregiver and now an owner, which is awesome. So I'd like to shift to thinking about this business because it is so relational, right? I'd love
Yes.
for you to share a moment or maybe even a story where you felt that it really had an impact on someone. Do you have one you can think of?
Um, we work with a lot of hospice agencies.
Hmm.
So we take on a lot of hospice clients where we work together with the hospice agency.
Hmm.
And these are families that have never had some of these experiences,
Hmm.
and they don't know what to expect
Hmm.
for their aging parent. And so I have found that working with the families, when the client decides they want to stay at home and they go on hospice, I found that you can make a very meaningful impact with the
Hmm.
families
Yeah, I love that.
because they are in unfamiliar territory. They
Hmm.
have no idea what to expect.
Hmm.
And so I love working with the families and helping them decide the best care
Yeah.
for their aging parent.
Yeah. And it's a big decision. And, there's a lot of trust and really just care and concern that you're providing and providing that to the family at the time. So I think that's very important and knowing that that's a key component for you and your business. So when you do think of the support structure Right at Home provides, whether it be resources or tools, what would you say you have found to be the most valuable?
Well, Right at Home Corporate has a yearly um, home improvement
Hmm.
event conference, and I have found that those have been very supportful and very helpful for a couple of reasons.
Hmm.
One is you get to meet with corporate
Hmm.
and they have meaningful classes that you can take and maybe find out a new process or a new regulation that you should be
Hmm.
following. Um, so those are very beneficial classes. But one of the most important things is that you develop relationships with friends
Hmm.
and with other franchisee owners. And you all have that same goal. You want to be successful in your business.
Hmm. Hmm.
And some people have great ideas and have a new idea for a new process or an easier process. And being able to build those relationships with the other franchisees really helps.
Hmm.
Because then after home improvement, you have that relationship and you can go and call them or see them, and they're just a support for you also. Not only Right at Home Corporate, but you're part of a community, and so you
Hmm.
become supported by your friends, which at some days you really need.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And, as you were once looking for, an opportunity for yourself, we also have clients or candidates, excuse me, who are currently looking at Right at Home for ownership. So, what would be a piece of advice that you could share or that you would offer to those individuals right now?
I would say just keep going.
Mm.
It's hard, and it's the first few years are really hard,
Hmm.
but it's very meaningful work that you do, and it gets easier. just it gets easier, even
Yeah.
though it may not seem that way, but it does. It gets easier. Um, and along the way, you get to have a meaningful impact on families and
Mhm.
clients. And then you also are able to have a purpose, a meaningful purpose in life.
I love it. Thank you. That was wonderful. And congratulations to you again, Kola, for 12 years of success with Right at Home and your commitment to doing good, not only for the community that you serve, but really for your staff as well. You can tell you have a heart for them and for the people you're serving. And for that, we appreciate you and are so happy to have you as part of the Right at Home family.
Oh, thank you.